Anthony Joshua.
Aren't many fighters not named Canelo Alvarez that can pack 70,000 in the house, but this is par for the course for Anthony Joshua.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, champ.
World, Anthony Joshua.
This man has become an icon in many ways for what he's been able to do outside of the ring.
Rank JakePaul if he wins this fight, and that will put him in position at least to fight for a world title. Whatever you want to say about JakePaul, we were all there.
Fight that's captured the imagination and generated huge interest. Two men who split opinion, a fight that splits opinion. It has to be the most eagerly anticipated 8-rounder that any of us.
The clash between JakePaul and Anthony Joshua promises to be explosive. Joshua brings heavy power, deep experience, and Olympic-level skills, while Jake leans on speed, unpredictability, and unwavering confidence.
Rock, they said no photos, Rock. Huh? They said no photos.
Okay, we'll do that, yeah.
But this is what we signed up for, and he's very tall, but that means I can use my speed and my size to...
Analysts are split on strategies, expecting fireworks in the early rounds. With both JakePaul and Anthony Joshua in top form, the matchup stands out as one of the most compelling fights ahead. JakePaul enters this fight with a level of confidence that has caught even veteran analysts off guard. Recent commentary highlights how strongly he believes he can meet the challenge and win. Unlike some earlier bouts, he's approaching this matchup with sharper focus and greater determination. Experts watching his camp note that his mindset is a major factor. His confidence comes from both physical preparation and mental discipline. Rather than overlooking the scale of facing a former heavyweight champion like Anthony Joshua, he seems to be embracing it as a chance to prove himself on a global stage.
He's very big. I'm here to shock the world, inspire the next generation. We're in the Heat arena. I'm a big Heat fan. Miami's on fire. This is my first pro fight, was in Miami against Gibb. I'm bringing that same energy here.
Respected analyst and former fighter, BJ Flores offers a more cautious outlook. He notes that although Anthony Joshua may not be at his absolute peak and has had recent setbacks, the challenge he presents for JakePaul is still enormous. Flores stresses that Joshua's experience, size, and technical ability make this a tough matchup for someone who hasn't consistently faced top-tier opponents. He cautions that the timing could be risky for Jake, suggesting a slower rise in competition might have been a safer route for his development.
And losing to Andy Garcia, I don't think that means you're punchy. I think that means he's fought the best fighters, the best heavyweights over the last 15 years, and he's fallen short, of course. But he's a very, 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 he's a very big man. He's got that Olympic pedigree, and that makes the fight against him very difficult.
It does indeed, what do you think is the upside? There's always an upside for this fight against Jake. I guess if I play sort of the viewer's perspective, what people are saying on Twitter, they're saying it's a win-win for Jake. You fight a two-time former heavyweight world champion in Anthony Joshua. If you get knocked out, it's no big deal. And if you lose, if you get knocked out, you get the respect of the public as well for taking the fight. If you win, you're the king,
Yeah. The upside is, I think, I don't know. Like, everyone's like, oh, I respect Jake. I'm just like, it's just crazy that you would have to fight, a former world heavyweight champion, 6'6", 240-pound gold medalist. That's the only way you get people's respect. Like, there's a lot of other ways. Like, and if you don't get everybody's respect, those people just don't really understand boxing. Like I said, I feel like this fight is a little early for Jake. Obviously, I would like to see him fight one heavyweight before this fight happened, at least one heavyweight, and then maybe see him, be in there with B, a guy world rated in any weight, cruiserweight, heavyweight, anything before you go in with a guy like Anthony Joshua. It's just a massive difference on the size and the power and win everything. But I guess, if the objective is to make people talk and make people say, oh man, he's crazy, then he's getting exactly that. He's getting what he wants. So to me, it doesn't make sense. This fight doesn't make sense to me at all, but I think would be there down the road. I'd much rather see like a Canelo fight than an AJ.
Joey Knight pushes back against critics who doubt Jake Paul's legitimacy as a boxer, points out that Jake carries real power in his punches and shows he can compete with professional fighters at a meaningful level. Knight argues this proves Paul is far more than a novelty figure. Acknowledging Jake's strength and improving skill adds weight to the idea that he can step in against Anthony Joshua with a legitimate chance to compete.
Be smiling and frowning at the same time. You must be smiling because it's happening and you're getting a mega payday, but surely you must be frowning at the fact that this kid and others out there believe that he stands a chance of even beating you. And look, if the stars align, maybe Jake Paul could close his eyes, he could put his head down, he could throw a punch sent from the heavens and he could clip AJ on the chin with it. But even if he does, I'd put my money on it that it doesn't do anything. I don't think it does anything to Anthony Joshua, even if Jake Paul does manage to clip him, because Joshua's never been hard to hit anyway. But the difference between getting hit by a Jake Paul and getting hit by a Daniel Dubois is monumental, and even that is an understatement. And the difference for Jake Paul in getting hit by a Nate Diaz compared to an Anthony Joshua is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What do you think AJ would do to Nate Diaz? What do you think AJ would do to Tommy Fury? Come to think about it, what do you think Francis Ngannou would do to Jake Paul? And look at how that went. So either way, what I'm saying here is quite simple. Right? Jake's style is very, very easy for Anthony Joshua to navigate. And that is even if the skill set between the two were on par. Because although he's getting better at them, Jake still makes many, many fundamental flaws. He leans over his front foot when he jabs, and that's a problem because when you do that, you're always going to have the potential to be countered. When
experts highlight the massive experience gap between Jake, Paul, and Anthony Joshua. Joshua has faced many of the era's top heavyweights. And even after a 14-month layoff, his history of battling champions and knockout specialists gives him a level of depth Paul hasn't yet met. Analysts emphasize that Joshua's ring craft, strategic movement, and ability to adjust under pressure pose challenges far beyond strength alone. They warn that the outcome may depend more on Joshua's veteran experience than pure athletic ability.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive, and as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than... I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really...
On the distance
while
of
he
Fury.
was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion.